On May 8, 2025, we bid farewell to a remarkable group of individuals, guardians of justice, voices of truth, defenders of thought, and champions of sport and service. Across courtrooms, mountains, stadiums, and front lines of journalism, they lived lives of depth and distinction. Though their time among us has ended, their influence endures. In every word written, every right defended, and every life touched, Charlie Button stood as a bridge between cultures, faiths, and generations. As a dedicated representative of the American Jewish community, his work fostered understanding, unity, and resilience. Charlie gave voice to the voiceless and strength to tradition, nurturing heritage while embracing the future. A man of compassion and conviction, his legacy lives on in every life lifted by his advocacy and kindness. Chet brought fire and finesse to the diamond. A three-time All-Star and key player in the Detroit Tigers' 1984 World Series triumph, he embodied the soul of baseball, fearless, focused, and unrelenting. Off the field, he mentored youth and fought private battles with dignity, including his fight with polycythemia vera. Chet's legacy lives on the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the hearts of those he inspired. Alphonso, Lingis dared to think beyond the boundaries of convention. A philosopher of radical thought and bold travel, his work explored ethics, embodiment, and the raw pulse of existence. With fiery prose and fearless curiosity, he brought philosophy into contact with the real and the surreal. Lingis challenged minds and stirred souls, reminding us that to live fully is to question, to feel, and to never stop wondering. Elizabeth Pacoda wielded her pen with purpose. A brilliant editor and journalist, her leadership at publications like The Village Voice and The American Prospect elevated the discourse of politics, culture, and justice. She believed in journalism as a tool for truth and a weapon against complacency. Elizabeth's voice now joins a legacy of fearless women who shaped the public mind and dared to ask the right questions. Dan Seavey lived a life carved into snow and spirit. A legendary figure in the world of sled dog racing, he helped found the iconic Iditarod Trail sled dog race and competed in its earliest years. In the wild hush of the Alaskan wilderness, he found his calling, bridging tradition with challenge, solitude with purpose. Dan's legacy lives on in every trailblaze and every musher who rides with courage. Eddie Sheldrake's story is one of grit, grace, and good company. A standout player for the UCLA Bruins, he carried the spirit of the game with him into the restaurant world, creating spaces where community and joy thrived. His life was a celebration of hard work, laughter, and the magic of shared meals. Eddie's legacy stretches from the court to the dinner table, a full life, well played and warmly served. Justice David Souter was a quiet titan of American law, serving on the U.S. Supreme Court from 1990 to 2009. He brought intellect, humility, and independence to the bench. Unmoved by politics, guided only by reason and principle, he championed the Constitution with careful thought and quiet force. In an age of noise, he stood for clarity. In a time of division, he chose integrity. David Souter's legacy is written in law and the conscience of a nation. Simon Mann's life was as complex as the conflicts he navigated. A former British Army officer turned mercenary, he was known for his involvement in high-profile military operations and coups in Africa. His story stirred headlines, legal debates, and moral questions. Whether seen as soldier of fortune or figure of intrigue, Simon Mann's life reflected the shadowed edges of global power and ambition. Andrew Norfolk stood at the intersection of truth and courage. As chief investigative reporter for The Times, he unearthed the harrowing realities of child sexual exploitation in Rotherham, forcing a nation to confront uncomfortable truths. His reporting led to accountability, reform, and justice. Andrew paid a personal price for his pursuit of the truth, but never faltered. His legacy is a journalism that dares to speak when silence would be easier. Today, we remember Charlie Button's Chet, Alphonso Lingis, Elizabeth Pacoda, Dan Seavey, Eddie Sheldrake, David Souter, Simon Mann, and Andrew Norfolk. A community leader, a champion athlete, a philosopher, a journalist, a musher, a restaurateur, a Supreme Court justice, a soldier of shadows, and a seeker of truth. Each one lived fully, sometimes quietly, sometimes boldly, but always with meaning. Let us carry their stories forward, not just in memory, but in action, In every step toward justice, understanding, and truth, may their legacies continue to shape our world.